you're not stuck. You just repeat some old habits that don't help you make progress with your English fluency. Welcome from the good old London, the city that I used to live in for 6 years before I moved to Japan. And I thought, let's just talk about an important thing a lot of students ask me about: why they get stuck. The problem is not them, it's how they learn and the habits that support their learning. As an English fluency coach, I meet a lot of students who tell me how horrible their experience learning English at school was. The teacher was incompetent, they couldn't speak English, they only practiced grammar and translation, lists of words, and most importantly, they did nothing about improving their speaking. So no wonder they didn't improve their fluency. I'm not sure how long you went to school, but most people go to school for like 10, 12 years and they get an idea of what it's like to learn. At school, we learn things like there's only one solution to any kind of problem, and your teachers correct every single mistake you make whenever you write, you speak in English, and those red marks kind of make you feel like you're a bad student, you should stop making mistakes. And most of us spend our time studying alone, figuring things out on our own, and then feel confused when we get stuck. But is that really how learning works? Is that how your brain receives and then uses information to make progress with the goals that we have? What about teaching people how to think critically, how to remember vocabulary longer, how to learn more effectively, how to manage your time, or how to gain confidence in speaking English? Don't you realize that the thing most struggling English students have problems with in their English fluency journey are things that school never taught them how to do? These are the things that this video is going to help you understand better, so you no longer say, I feel stuck with my English fluency. Hey English learner, my name is Chubby. I'm an English fluency, learning and language anxiety coach. This is a channel for English learners who want to learn how to make vocabulary more memorable and how to speak more freely, more comfortably, more confidently in English with the help of listening and spoken interaction. So if these are topics you're interested in and you'd like to hear more about them, make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you get weekly updates and all the community updates as well about how to do all these things in your English learning journey. I talk more about this in this video, but I thought because so many people feel stuck with their English fluency, it's an important topic to mention here as well. Unfortunately, a lot of us adults forgot to learn how to learn. How does someone learn how to ride a bike? Do they read books about riding a bike? Or do they watch other people riding a bike and then learn how to ride a bike? Of course, that could be useful as well, to see how other people do different tricks with their bikes. Ultimately, the way someone learns how to ride a bike is that they ride a bike. They fall multiple times, they hurt their knee, and they don't necessarily have a good balance first. And sometimes they may not even want to get back on the bike to keep learning. But they eventually learn how to ride a bike by getting on that bike and riding. And the more time they spend riding that bike, the more balance they will have. The more time they spend riding the bike in traffic, the more confidence they will have about their abilities of riding a bike. This isn't different from communicating in English effectively. So how do you get better at communicating in English? By communicating in English. Now, let's see what you did in school. You were listening to a teacher explaining to you grammar rules and completing grammar exercises. What did you get better at? You got better at listening to someone explaining to you grammar rules and completing grammar exercises. You probably also had to translate a lot, words, sentences. What did you get better at? Translating words and sentences. But when it comes to communication, what's most important is not the translation of a word or an expression or a sentence. It's the knowledge of how to use that word, expression, or sentence in a conversation. The important thing for you to realize is you did nothing wrong. You just spent a lot of time in a system that wasn't built to help you speak English fluently. It was built to help you pass a language exam, which is a completely different skill from speaking English fluently. Do you see what I'm getting at? Let me just put on my hoodie because it's a tiny bit cold here in London. So you didn't become fluent in English in school because you didn't practice the skills you needed to speak English fluently. Learning about the language, its grammar rules, translations, words, is different from learning how to use the language in conversations. Your brain can learn any skill at any time of your life. It's an organ that constantly rewires itself based on what you repeat enough. Can you start believing that by actually practicing your speaking skills, you can become fluent? A confident English speaker who doesn't say, I feel stuck with my English fluency anymore. And you're probably thinking, yeah, this all makes sense, but I'm too scared of speaking because I make so many mistakes. I have difficulty pronouncing words clearly, and I don't want to embarrass myself in front of other people. That's the second thing school never teaches us: how to gain confidence in speaking English. I've done this myself, and my specialization, one of my specializations, is helping adult students at intermediate or above level gain confidence and work on their language anxiety, which we all experience to a certain level when we have conversations in English. English students are all safe taking notes at home, watching series on their sofa, studying from their grammar books, but when it comes to showing their English skills in front of others, they go blank. They keep looking for the perfect words to use and translate from their first language in their head. And if this sounds like you, keep on watching. I've got these two videos where I explain to you how I overcame my anxiety issues or my worries about making mistakes and gained confidence so that I can speak to you on camera, and how I can use the same tools to help my students do the same thing. When you don't have the confidence to speak English, what you're actually scared of is not speaking itself, because you can speak to yourself at home in your own room when you're on your own. What you're scared of is other people's opinion of you, of your English, what they think about your accent, the way you speak, or the way you behave in a conversation. I get this because I used to feel exactly the same way. I studied everything my teacher told me to. I did all the homework, prepared, did all the exams, passed them perfectly. But when it came to speaking in front of all the class, I always made sure I was sitting at the back of the class, and I was terrified when I knew that the next is my turn to speak. And then I was always thinking about what to say, how to say it better, what's the perfect word to use, because I was so scared of speaking in front of others, because I didn't want other people to think that I'm stupid, incapable, or weird. But can you actually tell what other people think about you? And do you have any control over what other people think about you, your accent, or your English? If it's out of your hands, it deserves freedom from your mind too. One of the hardest things I had to learn in life and to become a fluent, confident English speaker, and if I did it, you can do this too, is to realize no matter how much you want it, you cannot control what other people say or do. You are not in control or responsible for other people's brain. People have their own opinion, their own thinking because of their past experiences, because of the people they've met who influence their thinking. And how much control do you have over that? You have control over the thoughts that you think. So which of these two thoughts do you think is going to help you build your fluency and become a fluent, confident English speaker? Speaking in front of others is scary and I will avoid it at all costs. Or I will practice speaking English in conversations no matter what, because I won't let what other people think, say, or feel stop my progress. Remember, your brain is so incredibly plastic. It's your superpower. You can create any new thought that will help you build the skills you need so you no longer feel scared of speaking English in front of others. And you're looking at someone who has done exactly the same and has built a business around helping people gain confidence in speaking English. I got to a point when I no longer feel stuck with my English fluency and I can speak English freely, confidently, at a proficient level because I changed the way I think about my English fluency. And if you need some further support on your English language journey, you want to change your thoughts so you no longer feel scared of speaking, you speak English freely and have conversations with anyone you want because you no longer feel worried about making mistakes or sounding perfect, I always have some free one-to-one language coaching spots available. Just have a look at the first link in the description below and let's have a chat. And if you'd like to hear more about how to organize your life so you become a fluent, confident English speaker faster and easier, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't yet and the notification bell so you get weekly updates on anything that will help you with your fluency, including mindset videos on how to improve your speaking, your listening skills, or how to remember vocabulary so much better. And the third reason you might say I feel stuck with my English fluency is because you don't make time to do the things that will help you speak English fluently and confidently. So we know that we learn through experience, and we also know now that we could learn to respond to some of these uncomfortable emotions we have about learning English, speaking English, when we feel tired, confused, scared, we don't have confidence. And this is where we put everything together. And another thing that school probably never taught you how to do, how to manage your time. And I'm sure you have a busy life. You work all day in the office, and then when you get home, there's all that housework waiting for you. Maybe you even have kids running around asking for your attention. So of course, it's difficult for you to have time and practice your English fluency. But fluent English communicators who you now see walking around speaking English confidently have become fluent and confident because they made time for what's important. And this is something I talked about in the previous video, but realizing that it's the small things you do every day or every second day that will build your fluency, will boost your progress. I mean, it's just like building a house. You will still get closer to having the house ready if you lay down the bricks one by one every day, even if you have 10 minutes, than not laying down any bricks at all. I simply made sure I spent 30 minutes a day doing something in English. And if it seems like a lot, just look at how much time you spend scrolling on social media, walking around in the supermarket because you don't know what to buy, or simply sitting on your bed thinking about all the things you have to do tomorrow. And if you feel like 30 minutes is still too much, just start doing something for 10 minutes. Because that's how you build up your own self-belief and say, yes, I could do 10 minutes. So if you can do 10 minutes, you convinced your brain that you can do something for 10 minutes and it's not that difficult at all. You are more likely to be able to extend that amount of time to 15 or 30 minutes or even an hour later on. Because it's actually not the 15-30 minutes of watching a video on YouTube or participating in a conversation that's difficult. It's starting that requires a lot of energy. And the easiest way to start doing things is to build that 10 minutes into your daily habits. To say that after dinner, I will do this or this for 10 minutes, no matter what. And it could be things like writing a paragraph about what you did on that day, chatting to someone, talking to someone on a language exchange app like HelloTalk, watching a video without subtitles for 10 minutes and taking notes, or listening to a podcast episode. The options are endless, and you're talking about 10, 20, 30 minutes of doing something with focused attention on a daily basis that will build your fluency in the end. And if you'd like to hear some more good habits that successful, effective English communicators have, just watch this video and take some notes on it. And think about this. This is your homework, and I never give homework in my videos. What is the one action you could take today and every day for 15 to 30 minutes that will lead you to speaking English more freely, more confidently, more fluently? Share your thoughts in the comments and let me help you stay consistent so you no longer say, I feel stuck with my English fluency. You've got this.